Hello there, English speakers. Are you ready for a big breath? Stretch and take the biggest breath you can. Oh, that's a rush of oxygen in your head. Oxygen in Swedish is syre. So let's talk about Sweden. I will talk more about Sweden tomorrow when we have a report from Hälsovårdsmyndigheten, and some other agencies, the agencies that basically take care of COVID stuff right now, except for one, our agency for drugs. Totally corrupt and no one talks about it. It's as bad as FDA. It's really horrible, and I will come back to that problem. But a good article if you're unheard here, from a British-Swedish person who knows the difference between Sweden and so on, and he goes through the culture reasons why we don't wear masks here, why it is the right, especially like the popular right or something, that is yelling about masks, while the left in Sweden just do as the authorities says. So it's very different here in Sweden compared to the political discussion in UK and especially in USA, where all the lefts, they just want everything to lock down, and just like someone adjusting the camera like this, there's a big, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's some ambulance and big stuff happening. We'll see if we can go to that and see what's happening. But here in the forest it's peaceful. Among Swedish Twitter there is total mayhem and people demanding shut everything down, change the strategy now because someone died in March. People are totally mad and you can't discuss with them. That's Swedish Twitter. Swedish people just says, okay, it was bad, but now no one is dying right now, so let's just go on with it. And you can read that article, it's better. But for example, we have this lagom. Swedish people don't like to overdo stuff, so it should be done a little bit in moderation. We want to live a good life, but everyone is also not rebellious, and they are not doing something really crazy. They just go on with their lives and they stand a little bit further away from each other, and they avoid going to big concerts and the things that we really don't like. And then when Karens, not you Karen, the general bitch, not you, sorry, I should learn new words. Those people who want to oppress others and they don't care about COVID, they don't care about saving anyone, they want to tell them don't go to the beach because it's good for your immune system. So don't do that, and we should have a lockdown in Spain because that's a total disaster. So let's do that because people were dying in March. So why shouldn't we do something stupid now? Interesting also from this COVID crisis, like a fallout, or I think actually a long term in Sweden. The people on the far left, I wouldn't call them far left, but the classical left, elderly leftists, and even some party leaders from the real communists and so on, they start to sound a lot like libertarians. They use different words, but now we start to copy each other, because that's where new power, new ideas come from. And right after that, the classical liberal party in Sweden had an article which is very much, not very much, okay, like 16% written with Marxist slogan and so on. I can't translate them into another culture context, so that's hard. But it sounds like it's spiced with some Marxism, not the bad one, but just we have to crush the oppressors, we have to take care of the little person, and so on. So that's interesting. But this unheard article has one flaw, and it says that Sweden is very much not libertarian, and that's just wrong. Sweden is in some ways very libertarian. The minimum wage in Sweden is nothing. You can work for free or for 2 crowns or whatever. You can't do that in practice in some instances. I can, but if you want to fight with labor unions, well, you have to do that. But the state is not caring, and the municipalities are not caring either. It's up to you to fight it out, and that's what we have been doing for a long time. We also don't have any NHS like in England, Wales, so every little region has its own sick care system, as it's called in Sweden, sjukvård. So it's called you take care of the sick and you don't care about people's health, which is the same system that they have in England. It's a total disaster, and it's very expensive, and people should start to get healthy and get help to know what they should eat and so on before they even have any symptoms. You can't just drug people when they start to really fail. Everyone who has taken care of a car or anything knows that that's a very stupid idea, and we need to stop that. I had a long discussion on this before, and I had an image that you can try to read in my Swedish channel. And so we are very decentralized, we are very pro open markets. Everything is basically sort of free competition. There are too many rules, that's a problem, but there's still free competition as much more than you can imagine in other places. We don't have any monopolies except for alcohol, and Swedish people seem to be sort of okay with it, or they are like me. I don't care because I make my own or import it. So that's other people's problem. That kind of gives you another view on this article, but it's a very good article if you want to understand Sweden and even other Nordic countries, how we can be so socialist and at the same time so libertarian. I'm more that we should lower our taxes, because now the taxes are just maximized to milk us as much as possible, and then they give the money away, not to us. So I don't see how we can support that anymore. And suddenly, no, 2 more things. There is this drug they use on Madagascar, Artemisia annua. Seems very promising. They use it there in Madagascar. One article that you can take a look at. And then some study results from India. It turns out that if you use hydroxychloroquine prophylactically, oh, I could say it, prophylactically. Oh, I can pursue you. Okay, there are some words I can't say, but I can say prophylactically at least 2 times. That's enough, don't you think? If you eat zinc and hydroxychloroquine, the longer you eat it, the stronger you get protection. So up to 80% less infectious at the end of a 4-week period. There I can see some obvious flaws in this study, that people are generally getting less likely to catch COVID the longer they have been involved with it. So these people who have taken hydroxychloroquine, maybe they spent more time with COVID patients than people who didn't take hydroxychloroquine and so on. But for you who don't take hydroxychloroquine because you live in an oppressive country, or you just think that all this headache and other nausea, diarrhea that you can get from hydroxychloroquine just isn't worth it, then I recommend quercetin, and you take it also together with zinc. And if this thinking is right, then your immune system will be stronger and stronger longer the time goes, which is very promising. So now I've taken one pill, 900 grams. I've ordered some 500 grams, so it will be less now. But if I take this, I will have a lot of debris from this plant all across my body. I have a lot of zinc in my cells, and it will be like walking through that forest for us, for the virus. They will have a big problem replicating. And if I have further problems, I can always chew on some star anise that has an extremely high effect together with quercetin. So do that if you have any problem in your mouth. And I also ordered some silver in case. It's also good for if you have any wounds or stuff like that, to clean it up. You don't have to worry about antibiotics and those problems. There is silver. You shouldn't drink more than recommended, but this is purely for puring water and puring stuff. You can also gargle it in your mouth. Takes care of some things. People say, I don't know. I'll try, and I will be very careful. Silver is poisonous, so maybe I should repost the link to Huffington Post, which is this right-wing thing, or maybe it's very left-wing, so get confused with that. And with that, that was everything, except I can recommend Dr. Sten Ekberg. He is a Swede, so he speaks very good English that Swedes can understand. Maybe it's also very nice for you who are Spanish speaking and so on. He doesn't speak with an accent, but it's just simple English when he explains good stuff about your health and how we in Sweden have a sickness system instead of a health system that we should have.